Hey everybody, good afternoon. How's it going? Hope you had fun watching the early games, if that is indeed how you chose to spend your Sunday. We've got a handful of, well, football games coming up. I don't know how many of them are going to be good, but we've still got these afternoon games. So, before those really get underway here, I thought I'd go ahead and cut a video about a little bit of news we've gotten in the last couple of hours here. At least I didn't hear about it until a couple of hours ago. And it concerns the upcoming trade deadline. Now, coming into this season, I assumed, and most people did as well, that we would be approaching the trade deadline with the goal in mind of spending our last $13 million of cap room and making this team better so they can add the final pieces to maybe be a true Super Bowl contender. Didn't happen. Did not happen at all. And now we are looking at a trade deadline where we are probably going to be at least passive sellers. So, LJ Collier, player that it's pretty easy to have forgotten about by now. So it's not like putting him on the trading block makes you a seller. Like, even if we were undefeated, I would still say we should probably get LJ Collier out of here because we don't use him. We don't want to use him. We don't see a future for him here. So this is not necessarily indicative of the fact that we are sellers. However, according to Ian Rappaport on Twitter, LJ Collier is one of the players who is currently being discussed in trades. He's listed along names such as the Eagles' Andre Dillard, and I believe he also mentioned Indianapolis's Marlon Mack. So it seems very probable that LJ Collier will be out of here in the next, I think, 9 days before the trade deadline. So I don't think he had any real fans left here in Seattle. I don't think there was anybody out there looking at him and going, "Oh, it's still going to happen. The breakout's coming." To me, this year was the year when he could have broken out, and he can't even get on the field. So LJ Collier very likely to be traded in the coming days. Now, what are we going to try to sell him on? Not a whole lot. If you take a look at his NFL career so far, he's already 26, so he's not super young or anything. He does have first round pedigree, but most people, myself included, feel like he was a reach at 29th overall. Not a huge reach, but a reach. So I don't think very many people will have respect for that quote unquote first round pedigree. And so far this year, he has played a grand total of 39 snaps and been inactive in every other game. 39 snaps on defense specifically, I mean. So he has 3 tackles and 2 QB pressures, 2 QB hits so far this year, which I guess is a pretty good ratio on only 39 defensive snaps. But clearly this team did not value him enough to even play him. And I mean, you're not even really doing yourself any favors on trying to get extra value out of him when you don't even play the dude. Like, if you had been playing him in every game and he had been at least making occasional plays, you could have had something to sell him on. But now you don't even have that. All you have is 2020, where, I mean, if you take a look here, he had 3 sacks, started every game, 22 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 7 hits on the quarterback. He averaged more than 1 pressure a game. And I think the best thing you can say for him is that he was a starting defensive end, the big end, on a defense that was top 5 in run defense. They were one of the best run defenses in the league. So that's about the best you can say for him. It seems like he can be part of a competent stuffing defense while also adding the occasional QB pressure. PFF thought that his 2020 season was at least manageable. 59 grade, that's okay. It's not anything that's going to get you any real value, but it is something that you can point to and say, hey, he belongs in the NFL. Now, I will admit I don't totally understand why you completely shelved LJ Collier after last year. He showed some signs of life. Like I said, he averaged more than one QB pressure a game. He only missed one tackle all season, and he was starting for a defense that was at least very good against the run. And obviously, he was also starting for a defense that was not very good against against rushing the passer until we traded for Collier. But that's not totally Collier's job. He's the big end. He's supposed to help you with your run stuffing. We knew that when we drafted him. So, to a certain degree, I will say that it would not shock me if he went somewhere else and had at least some measure of success. And we came to look back at this as Pete Carroll coaching staff simply not utilizing him properly. But either way, we don't have a lot to sell him on right now. Now, again, this does not really mark us as trade deadline sellers. And I feel like tomorrow's game is going to go a long way there. If we lose tomorrow to the Saints, and I'll talk more about the Saints game tomorrow morning, I think that you could start to see some more relevant players pop up in the trade rumors, like Quandre Diggs. I think he's the main one. But honestly, there are a lot of players on this team who have some value that are clearly not part of the future plan who you could look to move. Carlos Dunlap is actually on that list. Kerry Hyder's on the list. There are probably a couple guys on this team who are making too much money to move, but if you could find somebody desperate enough, you could also probably move them as well. But Collier looks like he's going to be the first bullet. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a deadline seller, because Collier, he's not playing for you. He does have some modicum of talent. He has to. He was a first-round pick. And he wasn't atrocious in 2020. So it seems like there's got to be something you can squeeze out of him, even if it's just like a 6th-round pick or maybe a 5th-round pick. I can't imagine much more than that. But at least, I will say this, at least this front office is doing something. Because with the way this front office is going about their business right now, there was a part of me that kind of expected them to not play Collier, but also just sit on him, like that's going to do you any good. So it does sound like we're actually attempting to move him, which I will give them credit for. At least they're doing something. At least they're trying to get something out of this player, and clearly they're not that interested in getting anything out of him on the field. So they're going to try to get something out of him as a trade piece. Looking for that big 5th-round pick for him at this point. I can't imagine getting too much more than that. Maybe a 6th-round pick is more realistic. But, yeah, if there are any LJ Collier fans still out there, look for him to no longer be a member of the Seahawks going forward. I think we get out of paying him a little bit of money for the next year or two. And I'll take what I can get for him at this point. But at the same time, there's a part of me that wonders, is he really that bad? And is he going to look a little bit better in another uniform? Time will tell. But I'll see you guys later. We'll see if there's actually a trade that materializes for him. I would take a 7th-round pick because we're not playing him. We clearly don't see him as being part of the future. And why not? Why not just give him another chance somewhere else? See you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think down below.